Hello, in this lesson we are going to talk about the Electronic Fund Transfer Act. You may also know it as the EFTA. A lot of policyholders and makers and politicians will call it EFTA for short. So, first of all, what the hell is this Electronic Fund Transfer Act? Well, it is an act that was passed by US Congress in 1978. It was signed. Can you guess who? If it was in 1978, have a little guess. Jimmy Carter, the president at the time. Probably in my eyes one of the only half decent presidents in terms of as a person, but okay, ignoring what I think of leaders. So yeah, signed by Jimmy Carter, and its sole purpose really was regarding rights and liabilities of consumers when they are using electronic means of transferring money, whether you're buying something, whether you're sending something, whatever it is. It was basically the rights that you have as a consumer, the liabilities that you may be liable for as a consumer. It also outlined the responsibilities, I believe that's how you spell it, responsibilities of everyone, including consumers, in activities that relate to electronic fund transfers. So it's not only is it the rights and liabilities of a consumer, it's the responsibility that everyone has when they're partaking in some sort of money being transferred electronically. So like I said, whether you're just sending someone money, whether you're buying something, whether you're selling something and receiving money as a result of this. And one of the reasons the EFTA is so great, especially for consumers, it helps limit losses for lost and or stolen cards, such as like a credit card, for example. So the exact sort of losses that can be avoided or limited for lost and stolen cards depend on how long after the card was lost and it was reported. So if you report it an hour later or 10 weeks later, the limit on the losses is different. If any, if any activities, electronic activities regarding money had occurred when you actually reported it lost or stolen, you can actually get away with not being liable at all if you report it. I think it's within 2 days, and if there have been actually no transactions. So you could just have a bit of inconvenience and actually not lose any money. So this is great for consumers because things can get lost, things can get stolen, identity theft and fraud. So as a result, this is a really powerful act that helps consumers and merchants alike as well. One thing it doesn't cover, I think is worth mentioning, it doesn't cover automatic transfers. Because the theory is an automatic transfer, you've instigated to have, let's say, money come out of the bank every single month or something. You've done that, that's fine. So that's like a legit thing. But if it's just a one-off, maybe somebody is trying to buy something for £1,000 or trying to withdraw money from your bank account, it helps protect against that. But how does all of this relate to crypto? So how does this relate to crypto? And this is actually a very, very interesting question, because some people actually argue, that Bitcoin is illegal. And they say this because it doesn't fully abide by EFTA, whether that's an exchange, whether that's a merchant, or just a currency in general, such as, obviously I've mentioned Bitcoin, but it's cryptocurrencies in general. Because under EFTA, transactions should be reversible. So if you want to reverse an electronic transaction within a given time, and I believe the given time is 30 minutes, but the exact time is pretty irrelevant for the concept that we're talking. So under EFTA, if you transfer money or a transaction occurs, you should be able to reverse it. But under Bitcoin doesn't allow this because of its permanent nature and the ledger system. So this right here, if you're treating it as a currency, and currency that is obviously only electronic, and you are transferring currency electronically, then you can see why people would say that this is illegal, because it's not operating under EFTA. Some will argue, especially advocates of cryptocurrencies, that though it isn't fully abiding by EFTA, it doesn't need to, because it's not a currency. They might say it is something else entirely. It operates like a currency, but it isn't a currency. So that's one argument for it. But some argue it should be regulated the same as a commodity, and some argue exchanges should be regulated as financial institutions. So some are saying it should be regulated the same way commodities are, the actual currency should be, and exchanges that facilitate transferring money, exchanging currency to another currency, should be regulated the same way financial institutions are, so they should abide by EFTA. But one thing I will say that is certain is the uncertainty of this. And the reason it's so uncertain is because we're in a whole nother arena regarding currency, regarding ownership, just regarding everything that we know about financial systems. This is nothing like what we've had before in any major way. So as a result, the old laws, this is something I'm certain about, is that the old laws will not be viable for the new age, whether that is a Bitcoin age, an Ether age, a Dash Monero Litecoin age, or some other coin entirely, even if it isn't purely crypto based, whatever it is, because it's going to be a whole new technology, the laws need to change. So whether it's an update to EFTA, whether it's like EFTA 2 or EFTA plus, whatever it is, policymakers need to understand this, and instead of clashing with the users and the developers and just the community in general for cryptocurrencies and blockchain based systems, they need to work with them and figure out what is the best course of action, because governments most likely are here to stay, at least for the foreseeable future. It's looking like cryptocurrency is going to be a major part of the next few years, and especially next few decades of our planet and the economy. So we need to work together. So this has just been a really cool video on the Electronic Fund Transfer Act. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson.